Good day, fourth grade. Let's go ahead and continue with our review for the quiz we have this week. For the first problem, we should know how to solve this. 40 times 30. We know that 4 times 3 is 12. And the only difference from this problem and the problems we worked on the previous page is that there's a 0 here and a 0 here. Both of the two numbers have zeros. And we combine those zeros and add them to the end of our number like so. So the answer is 1,200. My comma heroes, don't worry, I have the comma there. 4 times 3 is 12, and we had two zeros because there's a 0 in 40 and a 0 in 30. Let's look at the next problem, which is very similar. 5 times 4 is going to give us 20, and the 0 here alongside the 0 here, that's two extra zeros we need to add at the end of 20. Notice 2,000, has three zeros, even though our factors only had a combined two. The reason it has three zeros is because 5 times 4 itself already has a zero. So the two zeros at the end of these numbers, we need to add on those extra zeros. Okay, I'll explain that one more time, class, one more time. 5 times 4 is already 20, and 20 already has a zero. But the problem has two extra zeros in both of those numbers, so we also need to add two extra zeros in our answer for a total of three zeros, even though our problem only has two. Okay? All right, now number 7. 10 times what number is 700? Well, I see that there are two zeros here and one there. So I know I'm going to need an extra zero in my other factor, right? To account for the two zeros. So 0 times 0, 0 here and 0 here is two zeros here. Those are the two zeros that we have now. 0 here and 0 here, that makes up for the two zeros that are in the answer, in the product. Okay, now how do we bring the 7 into the picture? Well, we know that 1 times 7 is 7. Okay, this time we're finding the missing factor instead of just the product. Instead of just the final answer, we're finding part of the problem. And then we can always double check our work. 1 times 7 is 7, and the two zeros make up the two zeros here for 700. And that's all there is to it. Let's do the same with the next problem. We have one zero here, but two zeros in our product, so we know our other factor is going to need a zero, unless it's a special case where, say, for example, this was 4, and then 5 times 4 would give us 20. Here's what I mean. If we had 50 times what number is 200? It's 200. In this case, yes, there are two zeros in the answer and one zero in the question. So you may think we need another zero here to make up two zeros in our answer, but that's not true. That's not true because if we put a 4 here, then the 5 times the 4 will give us 20, and then this extra zero will be at the end of our answer. So sometimes you have to be careful when sometimes this number multiplied by this number already has a zero. So you don't need a zero there in your factor. Okay? But that's not the case that we have here. That's not the case that we have here. The case that we have here is that we have a 0 and 0 here to make for two zeros here. And then what number times 5 will give us 35? That number is going to be 7. That number is going to be 7. 5 times 7 is 35. 0 here will add two extra zeros to our answer. Okay, we're making our way there. We're making our way there. Let's look at number 9. Let's look at number 9. Number 9 says 45 by 31. Now notice this is a two digit. 45 has two digits, 4 and 5. And 31 also has two digits, 3 and 1. So what we are going to do is we are going to draw our 2 by 2 squared. And we're going to put a plus sign in it, so there's 4 squares total. The 45, we are going to split into 40 and 5, into its tens and its ones. And the 31, guess what? We're going to split it into 30 and 1. Its tens, the value of its tens and its ones. I should say the value of the tens. Okay? And then we just fill in this chart. 40, let me underline it here. 40 times 30 will go in this box. And 40 times 30 is 1,200. Comma heroes and there. 1,200. And then 40 times 1 will go in this box. 40 times 1 is 40. 5 times 30 will go in this box. That is 150. And 5 times 1 will go in this box. That is 5. Then we add all of these numbers up. We add all of these numbers up. Okay? So we'll have 1,200 plus 150 plus 40 plus 5. Notice I lined up my digits by case value. 0, 0, 0, 5, it's going to be 5. 0, 5, 4, well, 5 plus 4 is 9. 2 plus 1 is 3, and 1 plus nothing is 1. Comma heroes on there. 1,395 is our answer. Okay, let's look at the next problem and solve it the exact same way. Again, this is a 2-digit by 2-digit problem. Okay, so let's draw our 2 by 2 square. We made it a little bigger this time. Okay, our 2 by 2 square. And we'll split up 15 into 10 and 5, the value of its tens and the value of its ones, 10 and 5. And we'll split up 23 into 20 and 3. 20 and 3. Okay? It's similar to writing these numbers in expanded form. Okay, split it up by place value. Then 10 times 20 will go in this box. 10 times 20 is 200. 5 times 20 goes in this box. 5 times 20 is 100. 10 times 3 will go in this box. 10 times 3 is 30. And by the way, if you're struggling with coming up with this number and this number, please revert back to my former video where we talk about how we combine the zeros to come up with, or my prior explanation about how we combine the zeros when we write our answer, when we get a partial product. Okay, and then 5 times 3 should go in this box. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, let's add these 4 partial products now. Let's add these 4 partial products. We have 200 plus 100 plus 30 plus 15. Yeah, maybe we can scroll down a bit here. And when we add those numbers, we will get 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 5 is 5. 0 plus 0, 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So our final answer is 345. And I should probably write it here, 345. And there you go. There you go. This is how you solve 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication. When the numbers you're multiplying each have 2 digits.